How did you get in my house? Oi, welcome to Toad. This isn't related to the video. This is something I'm working on. I'm gonna put it down. Yeah. How did you get... Anyway, this time I'm making fast space marines. So I've been making a lot of bikers lately. Figured I'd show you how to make them. And I'll probably make some other stuff as well, because I know I'm bored. I need something to do. Get out of my house. One, my lovely people. Welcome to the first bit of the video, and with this I am going to be doing a chaplain on horse, because bikes are for nerds and I'm putting it in a Black Templar army, so give it a horse. This could also in theory work for a white scar, perhaps? Either way, if you're just a bit fed up of bikes, horses are a great alternative for Space Marine, especially if you're going for a more feudal look. Because Space Marines, as I have said many times, are just knights in space. Give them a horse. Anyway, enough with all the horse talk. So, to begin with, the base of this conversion is a Blood Knight. And the first thing I did was I stuck it all together, and then I just simply hacked off the legs using a mixture of my hobby knife and snips. I wasn't too careful, because I'm going to be covering it all up with some legs. Speaking of, these are legs from the Cataphractii Terminator kit, because I think they're scaled fine for a slightly more gothic, baroque, well, not really baroque, but they're a brutal looking set of legs that fit fine for Firstborn Marines. I mean, obviously with a bit of modification, I've used them on actual Cataphractii Terminators, but as is, they look pretty decent on standard blokes, methinks. So that's what I've done. What I did here was I cut off the top bit, so I was just left with the belt. I then cut the legs apart and angled them at a slightly weird angle with some milliput. I forgot to record that bit, so it looks like I'm fumbling around with glue, but there will be milliput that appears in the crotch joints at some point in the future. It's always useful, I'm aware. Following that, for the torso, I went with one of the old Death Company torsos because I had the kit, and I made all this before the new stuff got shown off, so sorry about that, but oh well. Yeah, just stick the one with the skull on it. I went with that because it looked nice, it was brutal, it matched the legs, it had a skull on it, it's a ruddy chaplain's body. Let's go with it, yeah? Anyway, after that's all stuck on, I then went with the backpack. So I took another backpack. This one is from the standard Firstborn Space Marine Tactical Squad. Because it's got a funky little skull in a little alcove, it looks like a skull in a church. Can you guess the theme of the chaplain here? And for a bit more extra detail on top, I went with I went with the skull from the base of the new Belial kit. Belial. If you will. And you can see what I did with the rest of that on my Patreon. Did I mention I'm a shill? Anyway, I'll discuss that later, but safe to say, any skull body skeleton man should do, but if you've got access to the Belial one, it looks pretty decent, that's why I went with it. And also, I didn't feel the need to pin it because it had the hand which got stuck, as you can see. I then simply attached that onto there altogether. Then I wanted to make the horse a bit more mecha horse. I mean, it's already got a skull on the front, turning it into, basically a servitor horse, which is always so fun. I love servitors and, like, cherubs in 40k, the little freaky floating babies with dog and cat brains in them. It's so fun. But yes, mecha horse. How to make this into a mecha horse is firstly give it guns so that it actually has WYSIWYG, you can actually shoot. So for this I just, turned back to the Cataphractii Terminator kit and took off I just took off one of the storm bolters, but instead of sticking it together, I took the parts separately. You can see I cut it off the hand and whacked them on the side. I did originally want to use the Terminators, Chaos Terminator kit, but I realised too late I didn't have the parts necessary, so I couldn't. Because I'm not buying the Chaos Terminators kit for 2 parts. Maybe in future I will. And then for the back, I also went to give it some vents, and these vents are very simply just from the Ravenwing Knights kit, Command Squad, whatever you want to call it, because that is the current way that you can still get Firstborn Marine bikes, and that comes with some spare vent exhausts that you can stick on the back. And then you've also got some Firstborn bikes if you want to use them at all in anything. Say you're doing this for a Dark Angel's army, or if you're like me and you just want bikes kicking about for no discernible reason. Anyway, that's besides the point. With the Mecha Horse done, Mecha Horse finished. You know, I'm going insane over here. I then wanted to work on the rest of the model. So for that, I started with his left arm. Now for that. For his left arm, I simply just wanted a hand holding a skull, because, you know, he's a chaplain. Skulls. So for the skull bit, I just took the arm holding the skull from the Black Templar upgrade sprue. You can also add some more bones from that kit if you'd like, which I did do later on. I once again forgot to record it, I think. Well, if it turns up later on, I obviously didn't forget to record it. And then for his right arm, I obviously wanted to give him his Crozius. Now, I wanted to go with something a bit more fanciful and add a bit more motion into the model, so I took a standard Chaos Space Marine arm and one of the spike thing hammers from the Ravenwing Command Squad, cut the spike hammer thing off the tip of the spike hammer thing handle, and then I stuck a flaming brazier. Now, there are multiple kits you can get this from. This one is from the Abaddon, the Despoiler kit. Like, you know, it's one of the basing elements, because I have it. But you could also go with the Gorilla Man kit, or there is one in the Flying Sisters of Battle kit. Any of that will work. Simply just stick it on, pin it, so it doesn't fall off. If you like living on the edge, then don't pin it, I guess. It's completely up to you. I pinned it because I don't want it falling off in the middle of a game, because it's a gaming piece. And then stuck the arms on. For the head, I went with a Reaver head. Any skull helmet of your choice will do here. This is what I had access to. And then for the shoulder pads, I just de-chaosed a skull from the standard Chaos Space Marine kit. Stuck that on, and then a Black Templar one on his other arm, because this is going in my Black Templar army. Who'd have thunk it? But with that, he's done! Okay. For a while, I've wanted a Primaris ATV, because I've got 6 bikers now, well, technically horse riders. I've now got the chaplain on horse. I kind of need it to fill out the unit. Only problem is it's a ruddy Mario Kart looking ass model, and I'm not having that in my army. And a while back, I bought the old Chaos Vanguard box set for Age of Sigmar. I think that's what it's called. I'll put it on, whatever's on screen right now. And that obviously comes with the Chaos Chariot. Now, I was originally just going to use it for sticking on the back of a Chaos Knight to make it more word-bearer-y, which I'll probably still do at some point in the future. I'll just buy another chariot. But I figured that with a little bit of work, it probably could actually work passably as an ATV. So, what I did is I just, got it, cut it all out, de-chaosed it, cut my finger open again, because that appears to be running theme in my videos now, and then stuck it all together once I de-chaosed it. Yeah, pretty simple. Obviously, I didn't put the 2 guys in it. I then got 2 Space Marines. Now, in the front compartment, it is a bit too small for a Primaris Marine or even a modern Chaos Space Marine. So the only model Space Marine that I found would fit is one of the Horus Heresy B keys. So, funnily enough, if you want to follow this video, you got to stick a B key in there, but otherwise, any Space Marine of your choice will go on the back just fine. For the guy on the front, the modified Beaky Marine, for his head, I simply gave him a Grey Knight helmet, because, you know, he's a Black Templar now. Grey Knight helmets work just fine. I really am not fussy when it comes to helmets. For his arm, I decided to give him the arm that held the rope for the horses, which was a real ball ache. You do have to carefully cut it up and match it. I'll put some stuff on the screen right now. You also have to de-chaos the gauntlet, because, you know, it's from a chaos kit. This is going in a loyalist army. I can't exactly have chaos stars everywhere. Or could I? A thought for another time, perhaps. I then proceeded to, you know, give him his power pack of choice and an arm. For the 2 bolt guns that are normally on the front of the ATV, I decided to just give him a Stormbolter. Again, from the Cataphracti Terminator kit, because I've got it. I'm going to use it. Then I gave him another shoulder pad. I then needed another guy, because the basic model has 2 dudes, I guess. So I stuck a Chaos Space Marine. I think there's becoming a running theme in this video that I don't like. But yeah, de-chaos the overall model, de-chaos a Chaos Space Marine, stick the 2 of them in there. Right, call it a day. On the guy in the back, for his big ass gun, I gave him a multi-melter. You can use any multi-melter of your choice. This one is made up of the Horus Heresy Vehicle Sprue multi-melter, as well as the Black Templar multi-melter shield from the Black Templar upgrade sprue, because this is going in my Black Templar army. Black Templar. Again, I'm just saying the same thing a lot. I gave him a head and a backpack and stuck them all down with the vehicle holdy arms from the Horus Heresy upgrade sprue. I didn't give him shoulder pads because I liked the detail, and best of all, I kind of forgot to stick them on. And as I'm recording this, I'm holding him primed with no shoulder pads, and I'm just going to pretend that I meant to do that. Yeah. But yeah, that's then done. Yeah. Alright, so we're about halfway through, finished making all the horses. Yeah, I figured I'd just say I'm pretty happy with how they're coming out. I've also been beginning to paint up these guys, although I don't know if I'll get them done. They'll be in the background of the glamour shots, hopefully at the end. So now I wanted to move on to making some other dudes, because why not? Yeah, I think it'd be pretty interesting to see what other fast stuff I could make and bring back to life almost. Other stuff, time for me to be an absolute shill, because that's my favourite time of the video. There is now an actual chance for you to support me, if you want to. No pressure, genuinely. If you don't want to, don't. It's completely up to you. But I have a Patreon. First of all, I'm making stupid videos. I need funding, and yeah, there are plenty of good perks out there. So let me just quickly run down a few of them that I'm planning on. First of all, at least 1 extra video a month up there. They won't be as long as these, but say there's something that I want to make that I know you guys will enjoy, but the YouTube algorithm won't enjoy, I'll put that up on Patreon instead. So there will already be a video of me making this Terminator Chaplain to complement the other Terminator Chaplain that I've got. I didn't make a video for this because I made this guy years ago and then cut him up. Some other stuff, I'm working on a Discord at the moment. It'll probably be up at some point in the near future. But if you're a Patreon member, you'll get a funky name, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, you'll get something special to do with the Discord. There's a fly in here. Oh, ignoring that. Yeah, I will credit any new patrons at the end of every video that they're like done before, if that makes sense. So say I had a Patreon that's new, you get credits at the end of the next video after you sign up. And I'll work on some other rewards, such as getting to vote on possible videos and knowing what else I'm working on in the future. But with that, let's get back to some flying dudes, because I've already made a few. And I got some pretty So, after all that horsing around was done, I then moved on to the flying models that I wanted to make. So I started with a Vanguard Veteran, because, you know, it's a pretty simple conversion, and I wanted to show you how to do it. I've already done a bit more of an in-depth, like, you know, flying captain conversion, so go check that out if you'd like. No worries if not. But I started off by de-chaosing him, as you've probably already seen. I then moved on to give him a hammer. This is from the old Death Company kit. Again, sorry for using that. I don't have access to the new one yet, funnily enough. And then I gave him a head, power pack, and 2 shoulder pads. And basically called it a day there. Like I mentioned, very simple, very easy, not too fussy. And for the last of the models I actually want to make today, a flying Contemptor Dreadnought, because who doesn't love 600 tons of ceramite dropping on your enemies in the middle of a fight? I may also consider creating some custom rules for this, and if I do, they'll likely be in the description. I will still make custom rules for all the characters for the last video. I haven't forgotten about that. I've just been rather busy with work and totally not being a lazy art student. Anyway, for the front of the armor, I wanted to go with a bit more of a brutal look. So I took this front grille from the Venerable Dreadnought, because it looked a bit more brutal than the standard Contemptor Dreadnought one. You know? Yeah. I cut off the top bit of the vent. I also stuck the, like, top bit of the standard Contemptor Dreadnought one on the model. I then shaved down the sides of the Venerable Dreadnought bit so it fits nice and snugly around the neck hole join of the Contemptor Dreadnought, and glued it in place. Now, you'll notice there's a massive gap. There's a really simple solution. I'm just filling it in with Milliput, because, you know, it works quite nicely and it's really easy to shave down once it's dried. Yep. Once that was sorted, I built it all like normal. However, I haven't assembled it yet. I built it all off camera because I didn't really do anything different, apart from the backpack and arms. Leave those off for now. But regarding assembly, I built it pretty much as normal. I wanted to give it a running forward pose, so for that I used one of my other previously built Vanguard Veterans as a pose kind of guide. It didn't come out exactly the same, as, you know, different proportions, different sizing. It's a much chunkier model, but I would highly recommend having one of these, like, you know, guides handy, even if you just get up a reference image, though a physical one is generally better. Once it was all built, I then moved on to the jump pack bit, and for that I wanted to go with something pretty similar to the standard, you know, jump pack that's currently available. And the way I did that is I just took 2 of the Sanguinary Guard jump packs, which I believe you can buy in resin for the Horus Heresy. Future Toad, put them up on screen if they're not. I love bossing him around because he can't hurt me. I then cut off the kind of like side vents that are on both of them, because, you know, I'm using 2. And stuck them on the, like, exposed bits of the backpack. You can see on screen. I'm not the best at describing these sorts of things, but, you know, that's why I've got a visual aid. And I didn't use the back half of the, like, jump packs because it was a bit too chunky then. You can if you want, however I wouldn't recommend it. Then, in order to cover up the gaps, I just took the 2 metal plates that normally affix to the power pack part of the Contemptor Dreadnought and stuck them on top at a slight angle in order to create a bit of armor paneling. Now, you're probably wondering what I'm going to do with these, like, 4 little extra thrusters. And in order to answer your question, you know, on the current flying Astartes for Primaris Marines, they've got the little, like, back of the leg vents. Well, I figured, why not? So what you need for this is you just need to stick the 2 vents on each bit of the leg. Surprisingly enough, they actually fit really nicely. And then I took 2 shoulder pads from the Aggressor's kit, although any like Grievous armor kit should work here. Cut the extra bit of trim off the top and just stick them, like, you know, with the middle bit, like I'm doing on screen, in order to create a little bit of armor. And you don't need to worry about blending it in because it's got some trim, so it looks more like it's integrated anyway. Banging, right? Now, with the arms, I wanted to go with, you know, the kind of slightly more brutal fists, but I didn't have access to 2 Dreadnought fists, so I went to the Hellbrute fists with the spikes from the, you know, Hellbrute kit for the Chaos Space Marines. I cut them out, glued them together, and once again, I de-chaosed chaos parts, because there's a running theme in this video, isn't there? I then cut them off at the kind of elbow joint, and took the 2 shoulder pads from the standard Contemptor Dreadnought kit, made them, stuck them on the arms how I wanted them to, and then I simply just attached the Hellbrute arms kind of as they were. Now, you'll have to be really careful with some of the fleshy bits. You can cover it up with, like, you know, plasticard or other some such, but to be honest, if you just shave it down to look a bit boxier and then paint it like metal, you can't tell the difference. Banging. And with that, I had every model finished for this video. I promise it's every model finished for this video. Oh, why does the runtime keep looking longer?
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
Alright, let's get this horrible idea out of the way. And I'm just kidding, it's quite a fun little conversion idea that I am more than happy to do for a laugh. In lore, they would be horrifying. Maybe I should come up with some custom rules for it then. But, going to the standard Terminator kit, I just dropped that, but going to the standard Terminator kit, you know, you want to take the guy that's confidently striding forwards. Yeah, he looks like he's actually moving, which is always good in a model that is meant to be moving at high velocity forwards. Even if he isn't necessarily moving at a high velocity, the fact that he's moving forward still means I don't have to repose him. Build him completely normally and call it a day, because I don't want to do it. No, I'm kidding. Then what you're going to want to do is, funnily enough, you're going to want to return to the Sanguinary Guard kit and once again take one of the jump packs in it. Again, similar to the Contemptor Dreadnought, remove the 2 vents off of the side of the back half, and on the front half, cut off the bottom bits, as I'm doing here on screen. Then you're going to want to glue them all to the model. With the back half, you're going to want to remove part of the material so it fits over the kind of buttons on the back of the Terminator suit, like I'm doing on screen. Stick it all to the model, including the little vents. Then you're going to want to take a bit of milliput, roll that up nicely, and squish it in between the 2 parts of the Sanguinary Guard jump pack, like I've done here. And then you're going to want to wet your fingers and slowly and gradually shape it, like so. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can always come in later on with a knife and file it down once it's completely dry in order to get a nice hard edge, which is great. Then, to finish off the rest of the model, for the arms I chose lightning claws because who doesn't love a jump pack and lightning claws? These are from the Cataphractii Terminator kit because, what a surprise, I'm using more kits that I used earlier in the video. And then, in order to get a Cataphractii style helmet that isn't weirdly cut in half stupidly like the kit, that's the only part of that kit I don't like, just for reference, I took one of the helmets from the Grey Knight Paladins and stuck that in because it looks like it could be one of the Cataphractii pattern helmets, because we've seen them in the Horus Heresy Praetor kits. So with that, stuck it all together and left him to dry. You could in theory add some extra details, but I like my jump pack units to often look a bit more brutal as they're hurtling through the air. They're going to be like, taking hits from, I don't know, flying bugs? Debris. That's what I meant to say. Flying debris. But with that, That's every single model done, I promise. And let's get on with a grand reveal. And well, that video's done. I hope you like the models. They look pretty cool, I think. Sorry about not getting them painted again. I had a lot going on between, getting ready back for uni again. Yeah. What are you doing here? I'm you from the future. How did you get here? Time travel. Fair enough. I don't know how it works, but I just know that I'm here now for some godforsaken reason. Guess you gotta deal with me. Oh, well in that case, hope you had a wonderful time and I'll see you next time. Ta-ta!